Question number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government, as the House will be aware, is investing more than any other government in active travel, over £3 billion in investment over this Parliament, which enables the delivery of high-quality schemes across the country. Active Travel England is helping local authorities to deliver the greatest possible value for money in that investment by ensuring that relevant schemes comply with guidance, and it's also ensuring that any active travel schemes that are funded by the Department are of the highest quality.
Ruth Gabra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2022, his department said that increasing walking and cycling makes life more convenient for people while tackling health and well-being, air quality, climate change and congestion on our roads. And his department's data confirms all that, including the role of low-traffic neighbourhoods and that they play in all this. Now the Secretary of State has boasted he's stopped funding for future LTNs as part of the 2/3 cut in active travel, which the local authorities don't have the money to build up since the cuts that they've had. So why is the government pandering to the Twitter warriors and not the data and those in their own party that support investment in active travel?
Well, actually, I find that very surprising, if I may say so, Mr. Speaker, because this government is not only investing, but it's also seeking to reduce any possibility of conflict between drivers of cars and cyclists. And I don't think the Honourable Lady should be disagreeing with policies that are designed to reduce that conflict. What we want to see is more choice for people in how they travel, and inevitably many and increasing numbers of people want to use active travel because of all of its health and environmental advantages.
Thank
you, Mr. Speaker. Whilst we all want to encourage people and give people the freedom to travel how they wish, including by walking or cycling, could the Minister confirm that this government is absolutely 100% not anti-car and is going to allow people the freedom to travel when they want, where they want, in their own vehicle, and indeed the blanket 20-mile-per-hour zones are not good for anyone in local communities where congestion actually builds up?
Well, I thank the Minister for the question. Of course, we are respectful of decisions made locally by local authorities, but of course he's absolutely right, as I've said, that we are seeking to promote choice. And of course that does mean that where people want to use cars, they can be perfectly able to do so according to that approach, and where they want to use active travel and to use the benefits, personal benefits and the environmental benefits, they can do that as well.
Shadow Minister Jill Fenn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of the most effective ways to increase active travel uptake is to improve road safety. But progress in this area has stagnated under this government. The last Labour government cut road fatalities by almost 50% compared to a mere 8% reduction under this Conservative government. Back in 2021, ministers promised a new road safety strategic framework, but 2 years and 2 Secretaries of State later, all we've been told is that it will be published in due course. Meanwhile, countless numbers of people remain hesitant to embrace active travel due to safety concerns. So will the Minister move beyond sound bites and provide some much-needed clarity on when this strategy will finally see the light of day?
Well, I thank you already for her question, and of course we take safety extremely seriously, and we've done a lot of work on this issue over the years. The whole point of having dedicated active travel infrastructure on the scale that it's being rolled out at the moment is to segregate and improve safety for those using active travel. But of course I'm sure the Honourable Lady will welcome the excellent work that's been done on connected and autonomous vehicles, because they themselves offer a potentially revolutionary improvement in safety over time.
SNP spokesperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In answer to my written question, it was confirmed that active travel spend was down to just 1% of departmental spending last year, which is positively lavish compared to 0.4% this year and 0.5% next year. The Scottish Government will spend 10% of the transport budget, or £320 million, which is greater than the active travel budget for the whole of England. So will we urgently review active travel spending to ensure the poorest, who rely more on walking and wheeling to get around, aren't disproportionately impacted during this Tory cost of living crisis?
Minister.
Well, I thank the honourable gentleman. I mean, the fact of the matter is that the Scottish Government has been funded both through the COVID and through the Barnett formula at levels that vastly exceed those available in England. And if you are a Herefordian, as I am, you look with astonishment at the increased levels of spending north of the border, and you wish that in many ways a similar rural landscape such as our own were as supported as well as that.
John MacDonald.
Number 5, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
The answer is no, Mr. Speaker.
John MacDonald.
Well, it's succinct, if nothing else. The Minister will know there's been a new Chief Executive appointed at Heathrow Limited, and inevitably the Minister will meet that Chief Executive. Could I ask him, when he does, he takes him through the costings of any infrastructure, road and rail, associated with the proposed development of a third runway? The Heathrow have offered £2 billion to cover the cost of that. The Government's Airports Commission calculated it would cost £5 billion. We now believe, because of the tunnelling on the M25, the rail and road links, the rail links in particular to western and southern access, it could be between 10 and 20 billion, the cost of this scheme. Could he make it clear to the Chief Executive of Heathrow Limited that not a penny of taxpayers' money will go in to subsidise the profits of the overseas owners of Heathrow?
Minister.
The Right Honourable knows a lot more about this, as it appears, than I do. Any expansion of Heathrow is a matter for them, as he will know, and if it is financed, that will be by private finance for what is a private sector project. The Department has no position on this because the Secretary of State may at some point need to be invited to decide on any development consent order, and therefore we do not take a view on this matter.
Secretary of State Louise Haigh.
Very much, Mr. Speaker. Whilst Heathrow and Gatwick set out plans to expand, the government's regional airport strategy has been seriously undermined by the hopefully temporary closure of Doncaster Sheffield Airport. The Secretary of State has the power to protect the airspace around Doncaster Sheffield Airport, whilst Doncaster Council undertake negotiations with Peel around the lease. Will the Secretary of State do so?
Minister.
Thank you very much. This is a very important issue. We recognise that. The Secretary of State has had the question put to him by local stakeholders, is considering the matter and will respond in due course.
Christine Jardine.